Verse. Tis I, the master of the Nerdiverse from the southeastern quadrant, Mike G, with another installment of MOTN Figured It Out, where we sit down and talk about one of my favorite things in the absolute world to discuss, which is hobby figure collecting. This is a live episode, so that means that if you would like to join us, you can definitely jump into our chat on YouTube. You can jump into our chat on Twitch. Come by, say hi, ask questions. That's what it's all about. What do we do here? One thing I love doing is collecting 1/6 figures. It's become my hobby as of the last 1 or 2 years, and it's something that I've grown a great passion to and want to be more a part of the community. As you can see, I have some figures behind me in my den of iniquity here at the home base. Normally I'll be wearing like a sweater or something, but it's abnormally hot this evening, so no sweater it is. We have a banger of a show this evening. We got some announcements, we got some releases that I'm extremely excited about, as well as a few topics I like to round out the show with. Once again, if you are a fan of MOTN content, may that be Masters of the Nerdiverse proper with Random Select currently going on every other Wednesday, MOTN Live, which is every Friday, 6 p.m. And especially shout outs to Watches Cade and Tootie's Toys, which are currently on Twitch. And they're killing it. Toots just completed her very first model kit of General Grievous. So applauses to her for completing her first model kit. And those collectors out there who've built model kits in the past know that is no small feat. So congratulations to her and that accomplishment, and many more builds to come in her future. So what are we talking about tonight? Today is episode 2, Attack of the Clones. No, episode 11 of Figured It Out, the Indiana. So our two prominent figures that we're going to be discussing today is this Predator 2.0, which is garnering a lot of controversy, as well as the release of the new Indiana Jones figure that I've been gushing about on our recent lives. So without further ado, let's go ahead and start talking about some figures, shall we? Let's get right into it. So the first, I would say, secondly big announcement this week was the beginning of the Thunderbolts run with the, I would say, leader of the Thunderbolts, Black Widow herself, Yelena Belova, who is played by the enchanting and brilliant Florence Pugh. My first impressions on this figure is, I think it's a solid start to a run that people are either going to be all in on or all out of. Thunderbolts, I believe, did okay in the box office. I don't think it was like Deadpool and Wolverine gangbusters. And in 1/6 scale collecting, that can affect the life cycle of an entire run. And what the problem with teams is that you really want the entire team, right? You really want the full run of a team. That's where the Guardians of the Galaxy fans kind of got burnt, because in the last film they didn't complete the team. I think Drax was missing, which sucks because he's such a big part of the character. He's such a big character and a big part of the squadron. So with the beginning of Yelena, if you're going into this line, you kind of have to be very careful, because one, these figures aren't cheap, they're very expensive, and two, you're going into maybe 5 or 6 figures, including the villain, Sentry. Thunderbolts didn't do well. What's going on, Toots? Salute, MOTN champion in the chat. So that's my initial thought. It's just kind of be weary with this figure, because I'm a firm believer of in for a penny, in for a pound. And if you're going to start this particular line, just be careful, because you're going to you may not get everything that you're looking for. So let's go a bit deeper into the figure itself. So I just wanted to include some screenshots of the figure. It comes with rolling eyes, which has become a standard across the 1/6 scale figure community, especially with Hot Toys. They're really dedicating themselves to rolling eyes, sets of rolling eyes. She has her titular kind of like baton hook that she's been using, her dual baton hooks, as well as a little accoutrement of weapons such as guns, things of that nature. Yeah, nah, I could see that sentiment, 2D. If you're a big Florence Pugh fan, I could see why you would roll with this, even though I'd say that the Black Widow Yelena, the old one, looks better than this one in the face wise. This head sculpt's a little uncanny valley for me. Maybe they'll tighten it up as this, because this is indeed a prototype, so we'll see if they'll tighten this up. She thick though. Yeah, Florence could be thick though. That's one thing Florence gonna do. I'm not a fan of the hair. Sometimes it's hit or miss when it's a plastic sculpt of the hair. And the hair looks a little toyish to me. But one thing I do like is I like the weathering on the weaponry. I like the body proportions, very Florence Pugh, and I like the actual outfit, the wardrobe, the tailoring is the word I'm looking for of this figure. So I think there's a lot going with it. And hand on the Bible, I haven't seen Thunderbolts yet. I just saw Captain America in a New Order. Life's been a little topsy-turvy, so I haven't been to the theater as much as I'd like. So I really don't have any emotional investment in this Yelena. But the Yelena from Black Widow, where she's in her comic book accurate white suit, that one is the one I would probably hunt down. And honestly, if you wanted Yelena, that one's not that hard to find. Final thoughts on this figure. Would I suggest it? Would I buy it? Would I buy this one? Honestly, this one's kind of a hard, let's call it a spade a spade. It's a hard pass for me. Only because I think there is a superior sculpt and a superior figure in the Black Widow Yelena with the comic accurate suit. If I can get comic accurate, that's what I'm going to go with. There is a heavy spend when it comes to team rollouts. So if you're going to get Yelena, you got to get Winter Soldier, you got to get Ghost, you got to get Taskmaster, you got to get Red Guardian. I mean, if you want to establish the look, right? If you want to be a completist, maybe you get 2 or 3 of those of your favorite. Maybe you'll get like a Yelena, Red Guardian, and Winter Soldier, and then maybe get Sentry if they announce him. That's a nice little shelf. But if you're going teams, you kind of want to complete the team. So this one has a heavy spend, not so strong of a head sculpt, and just overall, I think a slightly inferior figure to the older version. So I'm going to pass on this one. Would I suggest it? Yeah, I think this is going to be a good figure if you like Florence Pugh. I think this is going to be a good figure if you're a fan of Yelena or a fan of the film. But just know that in for a penny, in for a pound, there's going to be a high chance that you're going to have to put some money on this one if you want to complete the ensemble cast. Any final thoughts on Yelena before we move on to our next figure? Any final thoughts? Silence equals compliance. We all know this. Once again, shout outs to everybody watching. Thank you for all the viewers. Thank you for all the future viewers. I love this. I love doing this stuff, and I love talking shop. No? All right. Let's go ahead and move forward. So this is a release that I've been kind of gushing about and sweating. What's going on, AJ? Shout outs to AJ. She is a babe. It's Florence Pugh, man. I mean, what do they say? When kick her out of bed for crackers? You know what I'm saying? But we also have a beauty here, and Indiana Jones, the deluxe version. Toots is like next. Hating, dog. Hating. She's got an accent and it's raspy. I see the soda that you like sipping, dog. I'm not mad at you. The raspy voices get you. I ain't mad at you. I ain't mad at all. This Indiana Jones has been bothering me for the last week because I'm so on the fence about it. Initial thoughts on this Indiana Jones based off the most recent movie, Dial of Destiny or something like that. I forget the name. Indiana's final go. One, because I love Indiana Jones. It's something I don't really get to talk about on the channel, but I was an Indiana Jones kid. Favorite one is Temple of Doom. You know, absolutely love Indy. Always wanted Indiana Jones figures. Love the ride at Universal Studios. I'm a fan, mind you. I'm a big fan. And this is possibly the best Indiana Jones figure ever created across the long line of old Indiana Jones figures. Justin's collection does an excellent breakdown of this figure's pros, cons, everything. Shout out Justin. Hopefully one day I can make content with you. So my initial thoughts is like, is this my mind's eye quintessential Indiana Jones? No. If this was something from like Raiders of the Lost Ark, Last Crusade, or Temple of Doom, this would be a non-starter. It would already be in my cart, get in my belly. But it being the older at the end of its journey, Indy kind of gives me some pause. But let's go deeper into the figure, shall we? So this thing is loaded to the damn gills, ladies and gentlemen. Separate rolling eyeballs. Environmental base that flips around at different angles with a new technology, so it doesn't have a crotch grabber. It has a calf grabber, so it actually grabs him by the calf, so that it's a seamless base if you're looking at it straight from front. His channel was loud and spunky. Jesus, he's feisty, he's precocious. This guy comes fully leathered out, which is super rare for Hot Toys to actually provide leather for leather goods. So this guy comes with a leather coat, leather boots, leather belt, leather whip that actually bends and flexes, so you can do poses like that bottom right pose. He comes with a ton of gadgets. He comes with an actually working flashlight that you put like a little cell battery in, and it lights up for about 24 hours, so you can do that. And if they just gave me a young head sculpt, I would buy this, man. If they just gave me like a young Indiana Jones face rather than grandpa face, I'd be all over this, dude. I want this in my collection. I can imagine it right next to my Jack Sparrow right there. That's like my movie shelf, dude. I love Indiana Jones. But am I in love with this Indiana Jones? I'm so torn because I want to get this because I want Indiana Jones representation. But in this game, in this community, in this hobby, patience is the ultimate virtue. And we'll talk about that more in the next segment. Because though this figure is ready now, Hot Toys will do something crazy, like announce a 2.0 of the Raiders of the Lost Ark Indy, and like, oh man, those head sculpts, man, insane regardless. That's the other thing, Toonie, is that this head sculpt is perfection. From every single angle, you see Harrison Ford, you see his scars. Paki, what's going on? Paki in the house. El pinche Paki, dog. Yeah, I love it. What's going on, sir? Welcome to the channel. Look at this damn thing, man. If you love Indiana Jones, if you love old pulpy stuff, and you just want this in your collection, I'm so torn, dude. It's calling me, man. I feel like Pookie from New Jack City. It's calling me, man. It's calling me. I can't afford it, dog. I'm broke, bro. Broke, dude. You know, so it's like, and this guy is like 500, you know, I just don't know. Like, honestly, if my local missile silo, meaning my local shop that sells these, if this shows up, I may have to pick this bad boy up. You know what I'm saying? Just find a spot for it in the house, dog. I may have to sell some things, you know what I mean? Y'all may see me flipping signs on the corner of the airport just to pay for this bad boy. But it's genuine leather. It's Indiana Jones. He has rolling eyes. He comes with a little knapsack that you can put stuff in. It's too much going on. I don't want to linger on this any longer. Would I purchase this? Yes, I'm very much on the fence about this figure. Would I recommend it? Yes. If you want Indiana Jones representation and you want it now, I would pick this up. But you may be saying, Mike G, why don't you just get the old figure of the young Indiana Jones? Well, there's two things about that, and that's partly a thing of this collecting things. One thing you'll learn is that, for one, a lot of the older figures are older figures. The whip alone, bro, look at it, it stays like that. The older figures are older figures, so it's the joints are weaker. You're gonna be buying it, there may be some damage to it, there may be some fading or flaking, you know what I mean? These figures don't hold up forever. Figure reveal or not, I would absolutely do an unboxing if I got this thing, because it's too much to go on. It would be a gem. My last two unboxings have been horrible. My Jack Sparrow, and my recently got Jason Voorhees. I have a Jason that's over there that's just been that's been growing on me. I want to talk more about him probably at the end of the episode. But yes, if you want this, go find it. There's ways to get it. Go online. Finding these figures aren't easy, but if you're in the continental United States, it's a little bit easier through Sideshow. But if you're out in the other countries of the world, figure it out. You'll be able to figure it out. Any last questions about Indiana Junior? Any last questions about Junior before we move on to our next figure? Let's see it. I wish. The Jason, I'd have to grab him, bro. Maybe, tune in on MOTN Live Friday 6 p.m. I may whip out the Jason on that episode. Chi chi chi, kill kill kill, ma ma ma. If you know, you know. So that's Indiana. He pisses me off. Another figure that automatically made my blood pressure rise. Dun-da-da-dun-da-da. The Predator 2.0 was announced this damn week. So this is what I was talking about when I say patience is a virtue. Boo the Predator, you're out of your mind, bro. So you're out of your mind, Toots. You better not boo the Predator, the Yachua, dog. This is Jungle Hunter Predator from Predator 1, dude. This is a 2.0. So this figure came out maybe 10 years ago. Mind you, how long this all been going on. So they've redesigned this figure and are re-releasing it for newer collectors like me, like you, who weren't collecting or had no idea this was a community a decade ago. First initial thoughts is that they just released the Feral Predator from the new movie Prey. And a lot of people probably purchased that thinking, well, if this is the Predator I'm gonna get, then I guess this is the Predator that I'll just have. Just be my Predator. A couple months later, they announced this bad boy. A re-release, a remake, quote unquote, of the Jungle Hunter Predator. And I get it. You know what I mean? Like, I love the idea of new collectors having a yeah, Predator is dope. Okay, you're booing waiting. You're booing waiting. Understood. Gotta love the chat delay. Yeah. I'm really of, well, let's just call it spade a spade. The second I saw this, I pre-ordered it. This is coming home. This is absolutely coming home. Without thought, because Predator is one of those movies that was a childhood staple. If you look to the far left, you can see everything it comes with. It comes with a, what's the word I'm looking for? A concept art biomask that it comes with. It comes with a diorama display base, different kind of mouth screams, all of his weapons, a bloody spinal cord with a head attached to it. If you're a horror fan, you're absolutely gonna love this guy. Let's take a deeper dive, shall we? They gave the Predator rolling eyes, dude. They didn't have to do that. This Predator has rolling eyes, so you can have him give a menacing side eye, which I'm planning to do. You can see the diorama base with all of Dutch Schaefer's traps laid out for the Predator. It comes with a brand new body, comes with brand new proportions, brand new paint job, ice cream paint job. And it's just a kind of spruced up version of the 1.0. One thing I'm hearing, and what's kind of the hubbub around the community, is that this figure isn't proportionally correct. That the 1.0 was fairly short, and this figure looks to be about the same height. Now that gives me some pause, because if you know, famously the Predator was played by a basketball player who was like 7'2" or something like that. That's why the Predator towered over Arnold Schwarzenegger and over Danny Glover in those films. So it depends on how big he is. That detail in the middle of its forehead, yeah, they get in there too. It's like, that's one thing I love about when they don't do humans. When Hot Toys gets to do old people and aliens, they really get to show off and show out. Like, I wouldn't even know how I would pose this bad boy. I probably switch in and out, right? Like, some days I'll have it with the mask on. I'll probably wait like a year, switch out, mask off. Because that head sculpt is just too damn solid. You know what I mean? And either look is fucking dope, dude. I already have an alien from Alien Romulus on the way. So my shelf would simply be Alien Predator. I already have his queen waiting for him. So I'm really excited for this figure. Do I think that they'll adjust it by the time this comes out, probably next year? Yeah, I think they're gonna adjust it just fine. They've done it all the time. They just recently did it with the Feral Predator. They made some adjustments based upon, I would say, opinions and critiques from the community. So if they added another couple of inches to this guy, made him a bit taller, you know, if he had a girl that looked good, like I would call him, makes me want to watch the movies. That's what I'm saying. That's the main thing I like about collecting, dude. When you collect these figures, it brings you back to when you first saw the films. You love these characters. You fall in love with how cool they are, what they look like. You know, I look at my Jack Sparrow, it makes me want to watch the films. I look at my Darth Revan, it makes me want to play Knights of the Old Republic again. I'm looking at this figure, I just want to watch Predator 1 and 2. You know what I mean? So that's what drives me to collecting, is that it reminds me of what the things that shaped my personality, shaped my love for pop culture. And it's something that's just really visually striking to look at. And this guy is no exception. Yes, if you're a Predator fan, if you're a horror fan, if you're an Alien fan, or you just want something just cool on your shelf, I highly recommend this, because it took them 10 years to make another version of this Predator. How long will it take again? Only time will tell. We just don't know. So, and the thing about these figures is they're not in constant manufacturing. They make a batch and that's it, ladies and gentlemen. They make a batch and these guys are gone. So it's the ultimate sucky FOMO. But if you want it, collect what you love what you collect. Go out there, get them. I secured mine through Sideshow Collectibles. This is not a plug. This is just the only place where people in the United States have a surefire way of getting these figures. Is Sideshow Collectibles. Look it up if you're ever interested in a 1/6 scale figure. Got a little passionate about this one. I think this is a cool figure. It's one of my favorite announcements in quite a while. Any last thoughts on the Yachua, the Jungle Predator? Yes, it'd be cool if they made a Arnold Schwarzenegger Dutch. Will they? I don't know, man. Hot Toys does whatever they kind of want to do. But I'm super excited for this one. I can't wait to bring it home. I hope they make the proper adjustments. This thing looks badass. I can't wait to have it in my collection. All right, let's move on to the next figure. All right, for the ladies, we have the release of Artisan Wanda Maximoff, the Scarlet Witch, from, I believe, Avengers Endgame. This is one a lot of people have been waiting on, because it's part of the Artisan line, the tippity top tier of Hot Toys collectibles. And a lot of people have been wanting their Wanda. And there's so many different Wandas you can choose from in the 1/6 scale arena. And this is the one they chose to make their Artisan, mostly because she had longer hair in this version of her character during the Infinity War Endgame-ish era. So this was a highly anticipated figure. My initial thoughts. Oh wow, indeed. Look at that head sculpt. You see Elizabeth Olsen in every single angle. They're getting so good at these, man. They're getting so good at these face sculpts. They're hit or miss. Like we just saw the Yelena, which wasn't quite there, but I think this one's very, very solid. Comes with rolling eyes, of course. I think it comes. Her eyes are kind of like light up, so you can get that red Scarlet Witch eye going. Comes with this incredible diorama base, full array of hands, and some little magically hex energy around her hands. And of course, I think that jacket's leather or pleather. I'm not exactly sure, but it does come with the full set of hair that can be styled and adjusted. Are they laser sculptured? No. From what my understanding is that they actually hire sculptors and maybe laser sculpted. I think now they're made with computers. I think they're using like 3D modeling things to really tighten out the face and make it look as photorealistic as possible for these builds too. That's how it can look so crisp. My initial thoughts is I think this is one of those figures that if you just didn't get it, you just didn't get it. It's really tough to land these artisans because they're very limited. The artisan version. There is a sculpted hair version that is a bit more readily available, but the artisans always sell out. So it's kind of tough to get a hold of these in the moment. They sell out almost in minutes. Like the Anakin Skywalkers that were artisan hair sold out in minutes on Sideshow. So they can be tough, but if you get what you're going to enjoy it. Let's move on to some still images here. So just to kind of give you an idea of what this figure can do. She doesn't come with much, but it's Wanda. She's not going to come with a lot. One thing I do love, I love how flexible the figure is. You can get into some decent poses with it, especially with those leather pants. I'm kind of worried about those because I don't think it's genuine leather. And when you pose it like that, it can stretch out the fabric. So just be careful out there if you're posing your figures, like your Spider-Mans and figures that have really, really tight fabric. Just be careful with the posing, unless you're just like me and I say, screw it, I'm gonna pose it how I want and replace it when I need to. People are having issues with the hair because I think the curly is a little tight at the end, but I just think it's the way that this photographer didn't really futz with the hair. It's a thing that they say in the industry is called futzing, where you have to kind of mess with it a little bit to get the look that you want. For example, like I had to futz with my Darth Revan to get the hood right because the hood was all puffy and weird. And I had to use alien tape to tape the hood down. It's a whole thing. But yeah, it's all about getting the figure exactly how you want it to look. And with hair like this, you just kind of, unspool it a little bit, kind of like milking a cat, because cats have nipples, Greg. And with this Wanda, I think you probably have to do that, do a little bit of futzing. Not much to say on this one because, truth be told, this isn't the Wanda that I'd want. I've always toyed with getting the Multiverse of Madness Wanda because one that'll go with my Multiverse of Madness Dead Strange that I have, and that's more comic book accurate than this particular look. And for me as a collector, I prefer when the films do the comic book accurate look. That's what I'm going to stick with. So for Wanda here, while this is an excellent figure, and if you're an Endgame fan, which a lot of us are, this is your quintessential Wanda. I don't know if you're going to be able to get this artisan, man. You may have to pay an arm and 3 legs for it because these things, one, are in low supply and they sell out pretty quick. So I definitely suggest that if you want it, go find it. There are ways to locate this stuff. It's just you may have to do some back alley deals and spend a little cash, but if you want it, go get it. But for everybody else, pick a Wanda. There's tons of Wandas out there. I believe from every moment of her career, from WandaVision to, I want to say, even Civil War to Age of Ultron. There's tons of Wanda Maximoffs out there. And if this is the one your heart is set on, like I said, go hunt for it. You'll be able to find it. But for everybody else, pick one you like. I'm eventually going to get the Multiverse of Madness one, even though it's kind of like an inferior figure. If they 2.0 that one, I'm all over it. But for this one, it's a pass for me because if this is not my quintessential Scarlet Witch Wanda, but I can't hate. I can't hate. This thing is damn near perfect. Any thoughts on Wanda before we move on to our next figure? Now, I know there's a delay, so I kind of have to wait a little bit. So with that question, I am just going to remind everyone to thank you for joining us. Thank you for tuning in if you're still around. I love talking about this stuff on a Saturday night. It's hot, man. It's super hot in LA tonight. So for those who are out there, hydrate. All right. I'm running out of water. All right, let's move on. This one, the Hector Barbosa, captain of the Black Pearl. This was a deluxe announcement by EQS Studios. We talk about every once in a while what we call third-party figures. What is a third-party figure? So think of it like Hot Toys, J&D, and Art are the big three. They're the big heavy hitters, but J&D kind of like in the far. And Jazz, you know, and then there's companies that make these figures that don't have the license to them, that kind of just name them something different and put them out. Like, they wouldn't make a Batman, they'll make a Cape Crusader. You know what I mean? They wouldn't make a Jack Sparrow, they make a Pirate King or whatever. This company has decided to make a Hector Barbosa from Pirates of the Caribbean. I want to say this is not Dead Man's Chest version. I don't recognize the suit. Somebody may want to correct me in chat. But this thing looks unreal, dude. I almost don't think it's going to end up looking like this. I do apologize for the blurry image on the far left. This is a third-party figure, so a lot of the images currently up right now aren't high res. But I did my best. Please work with me. Toots, if you're still around, let me know what you're thinking about this figure. This thing looks gorgeous. It looks like it's one of those where it's like a shrunken person. It's on Art level. Just look at the hair. Look at the eyes, like the sunken in Jeffrey Rush sculpt that you can see from every angle. I'm really tempted with this one because I have a Jack Sparrow just right there. So this would be the perfect companion piece. But it's third party, so you just don't know if it'll ever come out, which is the tough thing about it, because there's really no guarantee that your money will ever go anywhere. So it's a bit of a shakeup for me, but let's dive a bit further into the figure. So I just wanted to kind of go over some details of the figure, just to show you guys just what exactly is going on. From my eyeball, that looks like genuine leather on the coat, maybe with some padding. It's beautiful. I know, right? He comes with a sword. He comes with his little monkey. I forget the monkey's name is Jack. No worries, phones die. That it happens. Don't worry about it. He comes with this pendant, like Jack Sparrow. He has a ton of layering. He has all this layering of fabrics and leather, and his hat with the flurriness on the top, dude. This thing is absolutely gorgeous. With a third-party figure, the problem is you just don't know about the quality. Yes, it looks good on the outside, but how is it going to function? Is the body going to be solid? Is it going to break on you? Is there going to be any QC issues? It's really tough, man. Because this just doesn't have to try it in true brand of Hot Toys, like a Pepsi or a Coke or a Pizza Hut or a Stars. But I guess really where I'm coming from is would I buy this? Yes, 100%. I'm really this is another one that's up there with Indiana Jones that has me super torn, because I think this guy's going for like $300, but it's a $500 figure with the rooted hair, with the rolling eyeball system, with the leather. One cool thing about third-party figures is that they can't really charge what a Hot Toys or Art or J&D can charge, because they don't necessarily own the rights to the license. So figures like this are usually a little cheaper than, your standard figure. But one thing about this is that it's not licensed in the US. So I would have to go through third-party sellers to buy it, which goes back to the shakiness of the transaction. There are some companies like 1/6 Kit that are really good and really reliable on, I would say, seeing pre-orders through. So if I was to get this, it would be through 1/6 Kit. I've purchased my Batman drape cape and my Darth Vader wired cape through them. Kit was really nice, and we had a full conversation in email. The payment went smoothly through PayPal. I bought 2 capes through them, and those experiences were top notch to bring my figures to life. So I don't foresee any issue with Kit himself. My issue is with the company making this figure. Am I going to be able to ever see it? Will it come out? A lot of these figures, they will announce and then just kind of go off into the ether. They just disappear. So that's my biggest worry. But if I had a secure notion that this was going to come out, I would get this in a heartbeat because of the price and because it would pair perfectly with my already Jack Sparrow. I would stand him right next to him, and that would be that. That would be my Pirates of the Caribbean shelf. So yeah, I think this figure looks absolutely breathtaking. It looks unreal. It doesn't look like, there's always a drop in quality from prototype to the shipped version, like 10 to 50% of the face sculpt. It's not as sharp. It softens up a little bit. But I think even at 10 or 15%, this thing's going to look absolutely bloody beautiful next to your collection. So fingers and toes crossed on this one, collectors of the Nerdiverse. I'm really torn. I'm torn, like Natalie Imbruglia, dog. I just want the monkey. Okay, I have a soft spot for 1/6 scale pets, that's why with the Superman figure, I hope they do crypto, because I love 1/6 scale dogs and cats and monkeys and bats and all that bars. So I'm really excited for this one, and this may be coming home. I may just bite the bullet and get it. Any final thoughts on Captain Barbossa? You better start believing in ghost stories. You're in one. Before we move on, I believe to our topics of the evening. Any last thoughts? And once again, collect responsibly, just in case. I know there's a delay. Collect responsibly, just to fill a little bit of time. These figures are not cheap. And they break easily. They can be very delicate sometimes. So just collect responsibly, buy what you love. Don't just collect them all. This isn't Pokemon. And build your collection skillfully. It's like rubbing the Poogie in Monster Hunter. You have to pet it skillfully. Collect skillfully, ladies and gentlemen. All right, I know this is going to set Tootie off. But we got to talk about it, man. We got to talk about it. So recently, Hot Toys and Sideshow have announced that they're going to be rolling out Last of Us collectibles, whatever that means. It had the Hot Toys label on it. It had the Sideshow label on it. So my question is, are we going to be getting Last of Us figures from the TV series? And more importantly, do we want them? I understand that there is a lot of controversy around this most recent season. I have no dog in that fight. I don't watch the series, and honestly, I haven't played the game since 1. I really enjoyed Last of Us 1. I thought that was a really interesting end, and posed an interesting question to the gamer: are we the good guys? Are we the bad guys? Kind of wish it ended there, because I was really not a fan of Last of Us Part 2. Really didn't want anything to do with it. So now that they have the licenses, here goes Toots. Now that they have the licenses for The Last of Us, there may be some 1/6 scale figures coming out. And I know that the actor who plays Ellie is not everybody's cup of tea. And honestly, all I see when I look at this Joel is Pedro Pascal. I'm not really a fan of either of these in my collection. That being said, if they were to come out with, let's say, like a clicker, you know what I'm saying, or a bloated, or even the giant homunculus creature that they have, I'd get that. Because I know Hot Toys would knock it out the damn park. I know they would kill a clicker. You know what I mean? No pun intended. I think the sculpt work would be amazing. And I need a zombie in my collection, especially with my Jason Voorhees. That's the first figure of a horror collection. So I want a zombie stand-in. Truth be told, I wish we had good Resident Evil representation. Because I'd love a zombie from Resident Evil, or a Nemesis, or a Tyrant, or even a Mommy Dimitrescu. You know what I'm saying? Oh, shoot, Jill Valentine, Claire Renfield, you know, Leon Kennedy. I'd love characters from that universe, but there hasn't been a good, I would say, live action representation of Resident Evil since Mila Jovovich back in the 90s, and even that's kind of shaky. So if I wanted like a zombie-like creature in my collection, I'm down with a clicker. I'm down with some monsters from The Last of Us, but the main characters, nah, I'm cool. That's just me. Of course, collect what you love what you collect. Do your thing. But I don't know. I see the actors more, maybe because I'm not emotionally connected. I see the actors more than the character. That's a big problem with me. There's not a 1/6 scale Nemesis? No, ma'am. At least nothing that is nothing. Maybe there's some custom stuff out there, but from my understanding, there is no 1/6 scale Resident Evil, much of anything. I think there's a Leon Kennedy, but it's not that great. And I think there's a Claire Renfield, but it's not that great. So what are your thoughts, Nerdiverse? Do you want these figures? Do you want Last of Us representation? The TV series, you have to be very specific, not the game. Because if this was the game, I think more people would be a bit more open to getting these figures, like the Jin Sakai, or why haven't they done Horizon Zero Dawn? I honestly don't know. Because if they came out with a 1/6 scale Aloy, I'd be all over it, dude. I love me some Horizon Zero Dawn. But we work with what we got here in the Nerdiverse. So those are my thoughts on this. I don't think it's going to be absolutely necessary to get a Jesus Joel or a Ellie. That's just my opinion. But if they were to hit us with like a clicker, or to hit us with like one of the zombie character creatures from the series, I get one of those just to have in the background of my collection. I'm down for that. Please let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Love to hear from you and hear your thoughts on this series. Am I hating on it? Should I watch it? Let me know, because I have no desire to do anything Last of Us right now. And the last discussion for the evening, which is kind of far-fetched, but I want your thoughts on it, chat. I want your thoughts on it, Nerdiverse. Are Jurassic Park 1/6 figures possible? Possible, right? We have Jurassic Park Rebirth, I think, coming out soon. There's going to be a bunch of different giant dinosaurs. Scarlett Johansson, whoop-de-whoop. Not necessarily pining for Jurassic Park Rebirth figures, but if they were to make, let's say, Jurassic Park 1, 2, or 3, or even Jurassic Park World with Star-Lord, would they make 1/6 scale dinosaurs? And if they were, what scale would that be? Of course, it's 1/6 scale, but how much would collectors invest the space to have a 1/6 scale, let's say, T-Rex? Raptors, I don't think would be much of a problem, because they're about human height, but they'd just be really long. You know what I mean, in the box. But I just imagine a 1/6 scale T-Rex in your collection. How big would that be? Be like the size of a dog, right? Be like the size of a damn border collie. You have to put on a table somewhere. And there's such a rich history with Jurassic Park. Watch our Jurassic Park Isla Sorna lore and MOTN lore. Go watch that on the channel. It was a great episode. And would I get a Dr. Grant 1/6 scale to pair with a Raptor? Hell yeah. I get a Dr. Grant, I get a Malcolm, and I would get a Raptor. And shit, that may be one of the only vehicles I'd get, because I really want a Jurassic Park Jeep, because I love the Jurassic Park Jeep. So my question to you, Nerdiverse, is given that there are people out there who collect vehicles, who collect the 5-foot Batmobiles and the giant Batwings that take up a wall, and the Ecto ones, and these huge space devouring pieces, would you make room for a 1/6 scale T-Rex? And how would that look? It would be so, from tip to tail, it would be like, what, 7-8 feet long? That's a human, dog. Dotson, we got Dotson here. Nobody cares. Nice hat. I, for one, if I was Captain Baller and just had a garage, I could put all these figures in and have like a man cave. I love Jurassic Park enough to have a T-Rex in there somewhere, and that would be the show stealer of my collection. Yeah, if I was Captain Baller, but we broke out here, dog. We balling on a budget, and I don't have the space. Wait, nah. I don't have the space for something like that, man. But if you were to give me like 2 Raptors with, let's say, Dr. Grant and like Malcolm, that could be a shelf. It'll be Jurassic Park representation. But the problem that I'm seeing with it, Nerdiverse, is that you kind of have to do a T-Rex, right? You got to do a T-Rex. That's the thing. It's like it's literally on the picture right there. It's the title creature of Jurassic Park. Yes, Raptors were the breakout stars, but it's the T-Rex, dude. You have to show off a 1/6 scale T-Rex, and that thing would probably cost over $2,000 easily, depending on what kind of mechanics are built into it. It won't be able to. Can you imagine if it was like fully functional? Not fully functional. It's not breathing or anything. But imagine it was like fully articulated, rolling eyeball system, mouth, jaw moving, little T-Rex hands, legs. You can curve it and pose it and do things with the tail. That thing would cost a gold mine. And there are collectors who would buy it. But the question is, would you buy it? Nerdiverse. I don't know. I don't have space for it. But if I did, I would give it a second thought. So that's really my topic. Would you want to collect something as grand as a dinosaur if you're already collecting vehicles? And would you make the space for something like that? You know what I mean? And there's certain characters out there, like, would they make a 1/6 scale Galactus? I don't think that's possible. What kind of Fantastic Four Galactus representation are we going to have in 1/6 scale? They'll figure it out. So yeah, that's my final thought there on this subject. I'd love it if they did some Jurassic Parking. Would they get the license? I don't think they have it. I don't think anybody has it, because I don't think there's any 1/6 scale representation of this series, which is a damn shame. But one day out there, I'm sure there'll be some dinosaurs that we'll be able to purchase with good hard-earned money. And ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the end of our show. Dream World Investing. Things you like 100 for 100, Alex. That brings an end to our slides. That's to bring an end to our talking points. I always like to leave a couple of minutes at the end of the episode to leave the floor open for questions, comments, concerns. Thank you, Tootie, for holding it down. Thank you, Pocky, for coming through and saying hi. Thank you, AJ, for coming through and saying hi. I hope you enjoyed some of the horror stuff we had this evening. Because, man, horror is one of those genres that is not really well represented in the Nerdiverse. Not in the Nerdiverse, highly represented. I mean, in 1/6 scale, it's not really that well represented. And I hope that Hot Toys takes a couple of more chances with horror. You know, there is that in art Pennywise that's floating out around there. I'm not that big of an Pennywise fan, but Sideshow, the company that made that, Jason Voorhees, did make a old school Pennywise of Tim Curry that I'm kind of eyeballing. You know what I'm saying? So I may pick that up. And Fantastic Four Hot Toys, they're coming. Chosen One, we're coming. They're definitely coming. We just haven't seen anything yet. We've seen glimpses of the Superman figure, but nothing yet Fantastic Four. We do know that they are making them, and I've said on this show that I believe that their Fantastic Four figures are going to be some of the most challenging figures they will ever make, just because of the logistics of making the Human Torch look real when he's on fire, or making an Invisible Woman that doesn't look like a toy, or making a stretchable Mr. Fantastic that doesn't look like an action figure. So it's going to be tough for them to make a Fantastic Four line. And not to mention the Silver Surfer, who is going to be reflective as hell and be Shalaba and not Norrin Rad. So they have an uphill climb when it comes to the Fantastic Four hot toys, which by the grace of God, I will be picking up all, because I am a huge Fantastic Four fan and have a shelf just ready to put them there. I will sell figures to get Fantastic Four. It's that real in the field. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there. If there's any other questions, I want to do some plugs. On Friday, we always have MOTN lives. Friday night, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Myself, Tootie Odin, and the Jedi Counselor Wash chew the fat about our weeks and talk about things. We're currently going to be recording our next episode of MOTN Random Select. We're just about exiting round one, and the two movies that we're going to be watching is 1990s Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Kingsman. What is it called? Kingsman: The Secret Service. The first film. Those are going to be pit head to head against each other, and because I'm old, I want TMNT to win, but it probably won't. But it might. You never know what's going to happen on Random Select. But that's the one I'm kind of rooting for. I have to watch it again. That sentiment may change. I don't know. That's the beauty of Random Select. Anything else coming up on our channel? I do know Wash is going to be live on Washcade. I believe Tooch is rearing up for her next project on Tootie's Toys. So Masters of the Nerdiverse is really starting to stretch its legs and get back into the swing of things, which has me very excited, and it should have you excited too. This has of course been MOTN Figured It Out. If you like our content, please like it on YouTube. Please hang out with us on Instagram. Tootie Odin is doing the Lord's work over on Instagram, engaging in our community and helping build it. Subscribe to our channel so that you know when things are coming up and coming out, and comment. We've recently been getting our first comments, which is extremely exciting. So if you watch this episode, if any comments about these figures, anything I may have gotten wrong, anything I may have gotten right, and then they were, and then they weren't, please let me know. We're all about growth here and constructive criticism. Don't be an ass, because we'll just ignore you or ban you or something stupid. But constructive criticism is always welcome. Thank you, Toots, for holding me down on this Saturday night. I'm about to lay my weary spirit down, turn off all these hot ass lights, and drink me some water because it's hot. This, of course, has been MOTN Figured It Out. Thank you, everybody, all viewers who are currently in here with me. Hope you enjoyed the show. There's a lot more coming, a lot more figure collecting, and I promise you, an unboxing video will go out. I gotta get that system down, and I need the right space to do it. It's a work in progress, but I am going to be doing it. I'm, of course, your host, Mike G. Collect what you love what you collect. This has been Figured It Out.